everyone. Good morning. I hope you're doing well today, and I hope your day is going great. If not, that's totally fine. Welcome to the Early Bird Weekly Podcast, where we talk about birds. I'm Ritika Satish Kumar, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the black robin. We'll look into some interesting facts about the black robin and sometimes go off track with what's happening outside the window. Today I have a special guest with me, my boyfriend Michael, and we're both going to be going over some interesting facts about the black robin. So let's get into the episode. So the black robin, or the Chatham Island robin, Petroica traversii, is an endangered bird from the Chatham Islands off the east coast of New Zealand. It's closely related to the South Island robin, or P. australis, which was first described by Walter Buller in 1872. It is also known as Kakaruya or Karure. So these names are, they seem a little ancient, as I can tell. Unlike its mainland counterparts, its flight capacity is somewhat reduced. So there are limits to its flight capacity. That kind of makes sense because this bird is a very small bird. The evolution of this bird was in the absence of mammalian predators, and it made it vulnerable to introduced species, such as cats and rats, and it became extinct on the main island of the Chatham Group before 1871, being restricted to Little Mangier Island thereafter. So that was just a little introduction on the black robin. Now getting into the family of the black robin. This little robin species comes from the family Tetroisidae. This family has other robins such as the western yellow robin, the pink robin, and the tomtit. There's also the scarlet robin, red-capped robin, etc. So under the family Tetroisidae, we have 49 species and 19 genera. So speaking about the genus, the black robin comes from the genus Petroica. Most of these robins from the family are Australasian, or from like the Australian continent. So yeah, now moving on to the appearance, Michael will take over that segment.
Thank you, Ricky. The black robin is a small, sparrow-sized bird measuring 10 to 15 centimeters or 3.9 to 5.9 inches. Its plumage is almost entirely brownish-black, with a black bill and brownish-black yellow-soled feet. Females are usually smaller than males, and male songs are simple phrases of 5 to 7 notes. It's called a high-pitched single note. Their eyes are dark brown, and then black robins molt between December and March. Moving on to habits, black robins live in low-altitude scrub forest remnants. They are entirely insectivorous, feeding on the forest floor or on low branches, and preferring to nest in hollow trees and tree stumps. To shelter from the strong winds and rough seas around the islands, they spend a lot of the time in the lower branches of the forest, or in flat areas with deep litter layers. Moving on to lifestyle, black robins are territorial. Males will patrol and defend their areas. Females have known to chase away other females. They make short flights from branch to branch and do not fly long distances. On to you, Ruthie.
Thank you. So moving on to the diet of black robins. Black robins forage in the leaf litter on the ground for grubs, cockroaches, weta, and worms. So weta actually means giant flightless crickets, and black robins eat that as part of their diet. Now moving on to the mating habits, Michael will take over that segment.
Black robins will generally start to breed at 2 years of age. The female robin will make the nest, and while she lays incubates the eggs, the male will feed the female for a rest. Eggs are laid between early October and late December. A second clutch may be laid if the first is perhaps unsuccessful. The clutch size varies from 1 to 3 eggs, but 2 is usually typical. Eggs are creamy in color with purple splotches. When the eggs are laid, the female will sit on them to keep them warm until they hatch, after about 18 days. Then both parents will help to feed the chicks. Young robins stay in the nest for about 23 days after hatching, but even after leaving the nest, the parents will continue to feed them until they are about 65 days old. This period of parental care is longer than would normally be expected for a bird of this size. After leaving the nest, chicks often spend the first day or two on the ground learning to use their wings. Here, they are exposed to predators. Now, on to you, Ruthie.
Robins live in low forests and bushes. They eat insects and usually feed on the ground or low branches. So, as we saw, like previously with the diet as well, black robins feed very low in the ground or in low branches. And now relating it to the population and the areas where they live, we can see that they prefer to live in low branches as well. They like to nest in hollow trees or stumps and stay in lower parts of the forest to avoid strong winds. In 1980, only 5 black robins were left on one island. They were saved from extinction by a conservation team and one female called Old Blue. The birds were moved to another island, and scientists helped increase their numbers by using a method called cross-foresting, or placing their eggs in other birds' nests so more chicks would survive. So this is my first time learning about this method as well, and this method would prove to kind of increase the endangered black robin species. Some females developed a problem where they laid eggs on the edge of nests, where they could fall. Humans helped by pushing the eggs back in, but this caused the trait to spread. Conservationists later stopped helping so the birds wouldn't become dependent on humans. The behavior became less common but still exists in a small number of birds. So here we can see how human involvement with the birds is actually kind of damaging for them. So most of the time, scientists and conservationists experiment with human involvement to see if it's actually beneficial or damaging for the birds. If it's beneficial, they continue helping the birds, and if it's not, they usually stop. Today there are about 250 black robins. They are still endangered, and threats like predators such as starlings eating their eggs remain. Conservation efforts continue to protect them and increase their population. So even though conservationists and scientists do a lot of protecting and take a lot of effort to protect these birds, natural threats like predators will always remain. And that brings us to the end of this early bird episode. I hope you enjoyed learning about the black robin. Tune into my episode next week when we'll be chatting about another cool bird. And don't forget to follow this podcast on social media. If you would like to message me on Instagram, the username is Early Bird Weekly Podcast. Or if you'd like to send me an email, you can send it to earlybirdweeklypodcast@gmail.com. I am so glad to have a special guest today in this episode, and I hope to see Michael in many of my other future episodes as well. I really hope you guys enjoyed learning about the Black Robin. Thanks again for listening. See you in my next episode. Bye.